The baseball world stares into the abyss after the Dodgers kill the game yet again. Jesse Minter engages in chit-chat with 7 teams not named the Chargers, and a third Rams assistant is being bandied about as a potential head coach. Good morning. I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. And yes, last night is a reason why we remain the greatest sports city in the world. It is January 16th, 2026. Welcome back to Ice Station Bravo in Michigan, where we are chasing money in a bitter and cold world. Do you like being in the know about LA sports? Well, if you do, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop an update. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. We have a quick look at the scoreboard today because there's so much to discuss. Charlotte defeated the Lakers 135-117. Ick. Meanwhile, today, the Clippers are at Toronto at 4:30, and Anaheim is going to play the Kings at 7:30. So what do you say we get to the news? Last night, we posted a breaking news clip on Kyle Tucker signing with the Dodgers. Now, I don't want to rehash all that we discussed last night. We have a few things that have come about since the story first broke. For example, the contract is for a shorter term than what the player had wanted, 4 years, with the potential for everybody to opt out after 2. The average salary per year is a shocking $60 million, a record for a single player. And we have to be honest about that. It is shocking because that type of money should go to the best player in baseball, and he's not. In terms of wins above replacement, he wouldn't even be tops on the Dodgers. He'd be 4th. After Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. The deal can be broken in 2 years, and that matters for a couple of reasons. 1, there are outfield prospects who could be ready for the Dodgers in 2 years. And secondly, if Tucker's health deteriorates, well, then the Dodgers could abandon ship. Second topic to discuss, I've seen fans envision lineups. Where does this guy fit? Now, the way I see it, Dave Roberts likes to go lefty, righty, lefty through the lineup as long as he can to make a pitcher uncomfortable. To me, that would suggest that the left-handed Tucker is actually going to bat 5th behind right-handed hitting Will Smith and above right-handed hitting Teoscar Hernandez. Finally, the best part of this signing, it isn't that, oh my God, Tucker's so amazing, although he solves a lot of problems. It's simply amusing myself watching fans of all these other teams lose their bleep. Did you go to Twitter last night and enjoy yourself? Because as for me, I wasn't even all that worried about whether the team was going to get Tucker. It didn't matter that much. But the reactions are what make it worthwhile. This is like having a threesome with the girls of your dreams and then finding out while you're going at it that you won a Bentley. Life doesn't get much better than watching all of that hate. So I wanted to share some thoughts with all the fans who are complaining, because many of them were from New York. You know, that small market little town out in the podunks, out in the sticks, New York City. New York fans complaining that LA hoards talent and spending too much. Isn't that rich? Because George Steinbrenner just ran a little mom and pop operation. And by the way, 3 of the top 5 players in the majors, in terms of average salary per year, 3 of the top 5 play for the Mets. So who's really breaking baseball? The Mets have Juan Soto, Max Scherzer, and Justin Verlander. And oh, by the way, the Mets offered Tucker $60 million a year. So New York, shh. And by the way, totally took great pleasure in the Houston fans who were just apoplectic over the thing. One Houston fan said it amplified respect for Tatsuya Imai because he could have gotten a free ride with the Dodgers, but, quote, chose to earn a championship instead, unquote. Houston, I don't know if I would talk about earning a championship if I were you. Just saying. And I know, of course, that the Padres complained, but when was the last time you paid attention when your little brother made a fuss? Me neither. Besides, as we've discussed in the last few days, there has never been a National League team to three-peat. The Dodgers obviously in position to be the first. And if that's what leads to a work stoppage, you can't take those 3 rings away. You can't take being the first team in the NL to three-peat away. And by the way, if that work stoppage lasts for an entire year, you know what the Dodgers can do to cut salary? They can say goodbye to Kyle Tucker. So everything's coming up Dodger blue. It's a lovely morning. By the way, side note for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw hasn't completely ridden off into the sunset. He's going to represent Team USA in the upcoming World Baseball Classic. Now, he wanted to pitch in the last tournament, but he had to withdraw because his insurance policy did not cover a potential injury there. Well, Kershaw's 37, and he doesn't really care about insurance policies now. Leaving the major leagues as a 3-time world champion and a certain first ballot Hall of Famer, after all. So yeah, a lot of Dodger news to discuss. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments thread. Atlanta and Miami interviewed Charger defensive coordinator Jesse Minter about their coaching gig yesterday. He allegedly had already discussed things with Las Vegas, Baltimore, Arizona, and Tennessee. We'll figure out where he's going from there. But if you're a Chargers fan or working for the Chargers, I would assume right now you're looking at this entire offseason as how to put out one 5-alarm fire at a time, right? They already have one coordinator to replace. They fired Greg Roman. Now they're having to possibly replace Minter. They did start their search for a new offensive coordinator in-house. They talked things up with passing game coordinator Marcus Brady, as opposed to Marcus Brody, the dunderheaded academic from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Off the top of my head, I can't say I have much of a problem with them interviewing Brady. The scribes have compiled their lists of potential replacements, and they did so completely forgetting who Jim Harbaugh is. All these alleged candidates are cutting-edge pass-game innovators. You really think Jim Harbaugh is going to go away from 3 yards and a pool of blood to Cliff Kingsbury and the air raid? Really? That's your thought process, sports writers of America? Really? Now, for his part, Harbaugh told the LA Times he still wants the Chargers to establish a physical identity. So no, I doubt it'll be Cliff Kingsbury. I really don't envision former Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel and his capri pants walking up and down the Chargers sidelines calling pass plays either. Just saying. As for the players, General Manager Joe Ortiz says he has not spoken yet with receiver Quentin Johnston about picking up his 5th-year option. Khalil Mack, meanwhile, will be mulling retirement for a 2nd consecutive year. Linebacker coach Navarro Bowman is going to be leaving coaching, period. He wants to spend more time with his family. And I wanted to circle back because not all is bad with the Chargers. For example, ESPN circled back, they looked at the 2025 draft, and they ranked every team in terms of production from the draft picks. ESPN actually believes the Chargers assembled a top 10 draft class. But again, the standard was production. That's not a bad criteria to judge, but it completely ignores a factor that undermined the Chargers all year: draft need. Don't get me wrong, you could argue Oronde Gadsden had a better year than the Rams drafted tight end Terrence Ferguson. Ferguson was taken 3 or 4 rounds before Gadsden. Jamari Caldwell, defensive tackle, safety, R.J. Mickens, both solid rookie years. But again, production is one thing, need was another. Their need was interior offensive line, which is why the Chargers are looking for a new offensive coordinator as we speak. Now, to be clear, Minter richly deserves the attention he's getting as a potential head coach. But to focus solely on that guy ignores the coaching tree, hell, a coaching forest that Sean McVay has cultivated with the Rams. Matter of fact, Rams coaches are going to be competing with Minter for multiple head coaching gigs. Pittsburgh, for example, has scheduled an interview today with Rams passing game coordinator Nate Scheelhaase. Now, Scheelhaase also has interviews lined up with Las Vegas, Baltimore, and Cleveland. There will be a couple of things holding the man back, however, when it comes to Pittsburgh. Because from the Steelers' perspective, for decades, I'm talking about the days of Led Zeppelin and disco, the Steelers had a formula that worked for their head coaches: hire young defensive coordinators. They have never strayed from that. And furthermore, Scheelhaase revives a different question. How much of the Rams' offense comes from his input as opposed to the overall vision of Sean McVay? Sean McVay does have a coaching tree, but it's been a crapshoot. Zach Taylor got Cincinnati to a Super Bowl. Kevin McConnell is kind of meh for the Vikings. Of course, Minnesota has way bigger problems than football right now, but I digress. And let's not forget Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula has an interview with Pittsburgh. So there's a lot of irons in the fire for both LA teams as opposed to potentially having to replace coaches. I mentioned earlier that the Chargers had a top 10 draft class in terms of production, according to ESPN. ESPN rated the Rams as having the worst draft class from 2025. Honestly, not offended. Again, it's results based, and the Rams sent away their first round pick. You don't get results from picks you trade away. We mentioned Terrence Ferguson. He was their top draft pick in the second round. And while the Rams got a lot of mileage from 3 tight end formations, Ferguson was dusted by other rookie tight ends. You prefer to get a baseline of maybe 3 or 4 regulars per draft? I would only argue the Rams have 2 from 2025. The other being edge rusher Hosea Stewart. It's a wee bit late in the game to enter the transfer portal. It closes today, but 4 UCLA football players plunged right in. Offensive lineman Noah Pueli and Garrison Blank, tight end Jake Renda, and defensive back Jameer Johnson. Not to be mean, but the 4 guys barely contributed. 2 of them didn't even play a snap. Moreover, the Bruins apparently have added 40 players via the portal. And this all makes sense because nobody's job should be secure when you go 3-9. Meanwhile, USC made its portal intentions crystal clear. They are only poaching a few players in the hopes of developing from their high school recruits. The Trojans added tight end Tucker Ashcraft, formerly of Wisconsin. USC has added 9 dudes in the portal. And speaking of USC, the basketball team, Chad Baker-Mazara did not start for the Trojans in their last couple of games. Eric Musselman finally conceded that the player who helped Auburn reach the Final Four last year before transferring to Heritage Hall, he's been dealing with a sore neck. So we don't know when he's going to be healthy enough to play regularly again. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about how much fun you're having as a Dodger fan, knowing that once again, we've killed the grand old game. For that matter, where do you think Jesse Minter is going to land as a coach? And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.